Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Peter Barber here, professional singer and music producer, and today we had another fantastic first-time reaction and vocal analysis for Maphra's cover of The Plot in You. No, Silence by the Plot in You. Yes, Silence by the Plot in You. Some amazing things. The exploration of vocal colors and the amount of cool registration shifts he has, the clean singing versus the distorted singing, the soft, breathy, intimate singing versus the super powerful singing. Really, really awesome. I talk a lot about the kind of mercurial changes of her vocal color and registration here because she just nails it. Absolutely nails it. So really enjoyed this one. Hope you guys enjoy it too, and I hope you learned something, and I'll see you afterwards.
I don't feel sad. I don't fuck with these pills anymore. These days move so fast, and I'm starting to notice the ones I held closest take more than what they give back. Yeah, I used to seek violence, now I use silence. It's my proper means for attack.
Yes. Okay, back with Maphra, and again, you know, how I came to know Maphra is from Doomed, and primarily like the big takeaway was, okay, she can do these amazing, big distorted, you know, power vocals, right? This heavy distortion, heavy rock metal style. But then as I've watched more of her covers, you know, she really is wonderful at getting into this much softer, more intimate approach to her singing. And this is probably the most soft, intimate version I've heard. I mean, we even have acoustic guitar in the background, which I mean, that's just not an instrument that's been in her soundscape in my experience listening to her so far. Acoustic guitar, you know, when performed in the manner that it's being performed here, very sort of soft and intimate, emotional, right? She sounds wonderful. She always sounds wonderful. And I always enjoy watching, knowing that she has all this power and distortion that she can tap into. In my last video for her, for Unethical, I commented that it's like there's a smooth lake, but you know that there's this like monster lurking beneath the water. And like sometimes she'll get close to like putting distortion in the sound and it's like ripples are happening. And then when she actually hits it, it's like the monster like bursts out of the lake. I thought that was a nice image. That's how I feel. I'm kind of on the edge of my seat watching her, but this is just wonderful. This is another case where I don't know the original song. So this is a totally raw experience.
I don't feel youthful. I don't feel sad.
So notice how she's coming off the tone of her voice so much that it basically becomes a whisper by the end of the sung phrases. And it feels that way. It feels like she's right in your ear, right? So we have this soft, intimate acoustic guitar. We have her taking this very, very soft, intimate vocal approach where there's really no power and very little vocal fold closure. That's often what creates power in a sound, really high vocal fold closure, pure tone. And this is very breathy, intentionally very breathy, very soft, all the while maintaining this wonderful vibrato that is something I really greatly admire about her singing. So good, so in the pocket with this intimate singing.
I don't feel youthful. I don't feel sad.
Like sad. It's like almost a complete whisper by the end.
I don't feel sad. I don't fuck with these pills anymore. These days move so fast, and
So A major. Stupid tiny keyboard on my iPad. I tried setting it up where I could have a piano here, and it's just very cumbersome just with the table and layout I have, unfortunately. So I'm dealing with this tiny iPad keyboard where really can never play anything accurately. Just trying to get some pitches on where she's singing here.
These days move so fast, and I'm starting to notice the ones I held closest take more than what they give back.
So she's only getting up to a tenor high A, which for her, not high. Now, Maphra does have a naturally low voice for a female vocalist, and we've seen her sing in a resonant manner all the way down to a D. This pitch. Obviously, it's going to sound higher in my voice because it's not low for me as a bass. But I'm all the way down to a low D, which is very low for a female vocalist to have proper sound down there. So, I mean, for her voice type, I mean, this high A, you could argue this is already getting high, but we've heard her sing, I think, all the way up to an E. So a perfect fifth higher, I think, is the highest I've heard her sing in like a chest connected way. She can obviously go a bit higher in that in head voice, but in that chest connected way, that's a more obviously limited range.
And I'm starting to notice the ones I held closest take more than what they give back.
And notice how she's not taking a lot of weight up there with her. Now, this is a place where she can. There's a place in her range where she probably has a lot of freedom and flexibility to sing it and approach it however she wants. There are some parts in your range you kind of need to sing with a certain technique, or a certain technique really fits the note, the pitch better. But here it's like she could flip up into a really light head voice, which I think she does at one moment here. She could take a mix to it. She could also just bring the full chest connection up to it. It's in that part of the range where a skilled singer will have a lot of options for how they want to approach it.
Closest, take more than what they give back. Yeah, I used to seek violence. Now I use silence as my proper means for attack.
Wow. Okay, so the monster is no longer lurking under the surface. I mean, that as soon as that interlude came in, that the new instrumentation and soundscape, like, okay, we're no longer in acoustic guitar land. We're in a new music production. You could feel something was really growing, but then I did not expect the full distortion to come in so soon. We get this lovely high head voice from her. It was funny, I was just talking about her upper range. Surprised I can actually phonate that high today. So that's a high A, soprano high A. So that's an octave higher than what the A I was just referencing before. Obviously, pure head voice, it's breathy. If you don't train this part of your range heavily, which is, for example, what female opera singers do, you have to train it to get good vocal fold closure. So to get like a really pure tone up there, especially with like power and volume, you just have to train that part of your range. And it's very unusual to really train that part of your range intentionally outside of the classical world, because it's just not really used a whole lot in contemporary music. And if it is, it's usually with a more breathy approach, like we've just heard Maphra do. It's not with like this perfect big, powerful, clear tone up there like you need to be an opera singer. But that's some exceptional range from Maphra. So I know I've heard her sing down to a D3, and that's an A5. So that's some very serious range. So the transition out of head voice into the distorted chest voice. C sharp 5, so tenor high C sharp, that's high. I mean, that's high to belt in a distorted way. And I know she's about to stretch it even higher, but that's awesome. That's so cool to hear someone go from this like breathy falsetto, really high head voice, slide down, and then out of what's still pretty high from, this breathy head voice register into chest voice distorted register, like complete shift of registration and vocal technique. Super cool. That's something that's getting up to like an F. Now, what's cool here is we get anything. That first one is really, really like the tone is very clear. It's like the tone is colored in distortion. Then the next time when she repeats those words, it gets super intense and she lets more and more distortion come into it to where there's very little tone left and it gets into that sort of screamy place. That's very, like a very clear pitch on that C sharp, right? It's got a lot more noise and distortion around the pitch center.
Took a lot of time, but I'm not complaining. Took a lot of paranoia moving through the stages. Every single time I get the feeling
Bars.
that I'm breaking. Think about another time when I was fucking nameless. Mark my words, it comes with separation. When you get this tape, the feeling comes with desperation, babe.
Sick, dude. And like a totally different, I mean, complete vibe shift here. We come out of like nearly full scream, right? Only a little bit of tone left, into back to like very pure tone in this speech-like manner, in this almost rap-like manner. Just like another radical shift. So we get the vocal production radical shift going from that high head voice breathy into the distorted high chest belt into the more screamy stuff, and then coming out of that and way down back towards like the lower middle of her range in this sort of speech like place. It's just a lot of vocal color and variety back to back.
Took a lot of time, but I'm not complaining. Took a lot of paranoia moving through the stages.
This production, I mean, this is a vocal cover, so I assume she's using the original instrumental. She's done that on her other songs. This is very interesting how it's creating the beat. It's not like we're getting this. It's like da, 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 da. It's like all these offbeats. You can feel the pulse internally, but we don't get like a clear like kick drum 1 2 3 4 kind of thing. It's these weird, like, distorted guitars, synth sounds.
I don't need anything. Took a lot of time, but I'm not complaining. Took a lot of paranoia moving through the stages. Every single time I get the feeling that I'm breaking. Think about another time when I was fucking nameless. Mark my words, this ceiling comes with separation. When you get this tape, the feeling comes with desperation, baby.
She's just ripping these high C sharps the whole time. And there's only a couple notes that aren't distorted. You know, she's like, it's almost this level, which is very dialed. I mean, she really knows so well what she's doing and how to control it, which is awesome. It's one reason why she's so captivating as a singer. But so when she's not doing distortion, that's an intentional move, right? She's gonna listen to her voice and turn it on and off as needed. It's only a couple notes here where she's not doing it. It's mostly distortion here.
But I'm breaking. Think about another time when I was fucking nameless. Mark my words, this ceiling comes with separation.
With Sep is clean and pretty. The rest is distorted.
Mark my words, this ceiling comes with separation.
Right back into it.
When you get this tape, the feeling comes with desperation. Bite me down, rip my heart in two. There's nothing that you can take. I know it's true.
Just carries it all the way through. Yeah, I mean, this style of singing is surprisingly efficient with air. I mean, you would think because like to get that distortion and noisiness, like some extra air has to be coming through with this flapping of the vocal folds. But it's very compressed. It's a very compressed sound at the level of your vocal folds and false folds and whatever is involved at, depending on the kind of distortion. And because it's so compressed, there's very little air actually escaping. So that's why you can sustain these distorted sounds for super long and not need to take a breath. It's funny. It's counterintuitive when you hear a big, loud singer or a seemingly big, loud note, like some of these distorted sounds. It feels like that would require more air, but it's the opposite. So if you hear an opera singer, now, as a professional opera singer, when we are singing in a theater, we're not using microphones and we're singing with full orchestra. So you have to be crazy loud, freaky loud. That's just part of the trade and training your voice in such a way. But it's incredibly efficient. So that's why you can hear an opera singer sustain a massive high note for like almost as long as they can hold their breath, because there's such little air escaping during each oscillation of the vocal folds. And this isn't even, I won't go too far into it. This is actually a more compressed sound. I wouldn't be able to scientifically say, does a super pure tone from an opera singer or a really compressed, distorted sound have more air coming through? That's a much more complicated question. But the point is, there's not much coming out for either of them. So both of them, despite being very different vocal techniques, can sustain a long phrase in one breath. And we get this here. It's like, where is she breathing? Where is she breathing? Because she just keeps going and keeps going. It's because she's not actually expunging that much air.
Nameless. Mark my words, this ceiling comes with separation. When you get this tape, the feeling comes with desperation. Beat me down, rip my heart in two. There's nothing that you can take. I know it's
Sick. I love how she's really like pushing it. Like she's so locked in this very specific amount of distortion through that whole hot all those C sharps. Like, and then, but right at the end, it's like she stays locked in, but pushes, like, bends the boundaries of that technique to where it starts breaking out into a more distorted sound. It's like the best way I can explain it. It's like she's like pushing the edges of how much she can control, like the amount of distortion versus the amount of power and effort she's putting into it. It feels like she's like pushing up against a wall, which is so cool.
I know it's true.
Right? Yeah, girl, take a breather.
So let me be when the skies tread this road till I've gone too far. Left in peace, kept in bites, burn this life for the next
I mean, this is so cool. Okay. Hold up. Bop, 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 bop. So the first time she pops up to that high A4, it's head voice. And then she pops up in a chest voice. And then she pops up in a distorted chest voice. Ba, ba, head voice, ba, ba, chest voice, ba, ba, distorted chest voice. So cool. So it's like we have the phrase of the song, and then you have like the phrase of a verse or a chorus. And then within each of those phrases, you have smaller phrases. It's a great way to think about songwriting and how to build towards a climax and keep things interesting. And this is a great way to do it vocally. Falsetto or head voice, a little more intense with the pure chest voice, more intense with the distorted chest voice, and then you run that back again. So instead of hearing all of this in one technique, which it still wouldn't be boring, it's quite interesting, and obviously we love her voice, but how much cooler is this that we get to hear her doing all these different techniques and approaches and vocal colors. Head voice, chest, distorted. Sick. I love on the production side. That's just a very cool, when everything cuts out for a second, you just get the voice and then everything comes back in. Love it. Another very cool songwriting technique. Yeah, it's just a very cool section. Very, very cool what she's doing vocally. Yeah, it's intense, right? I wonder how many like takes she can do of this, like back to back. Because like people who are really good at distortion obviously becomes much, much, much more sustainable than someone like me who's working on it, but very much a beginner. I can't do it for all that long, especially not, this level. I physically can't even sing like one note, maybe one note, like with this amount of power and intensity and distortion in my upper chest range. So I wonder someone like Maphra, who's so dialed and so good at it, like how many times she could just run this vocal cover back and do it, before she gets super, super tired.
Hey, let me play, let me play.
That's C sharp again.
Not sick from the noise. I'll make my way through all that I have to. 'Cause I'm dying to live. Not been through the void. And now celebrate the fact that I have proof.
Oh man. This is probably the most it's not the most distortion, right? She's done heavier distortion in other songs, but it's like the most notes per song that she's sung in a distorted way. Like almost, aside from the first section, like most of the rest of it has been distorted singing with very short breaks, just like a syllable here, a syllable there. It's a lot of distortion and the same kind of balance of distortion versus clean singing. This whole section was just locked into this distorted singing. A lot of these high A's and high B's. A lot of that going on. The occasional C sharp. And then when she goes into this more yelly, screamy thing at the ends of these phrases, usually she goes like, ah! It kind of like pushes up a little bit when she's pushing against the wall, right?
Dying to live, not been through the void. And now celebrate the fact that I have proof. A state of
Proof. I love I talk a little bit about this with her before. When you're up in this high belt land, up around there, you're not going to say proof. Proof is like it's basically not even possible to sing up there based on like sound physics. Proof. We know the word. We can hear the words proof. I hope I have that right. This is again the first time I'm hearing this song. But the point is, up there when you're in that high belt, high intensity chest voice singing, you typically just want to open your mouth wider. There are different applications for this in the classical world, which is very unique in sort of how it approaches registration. But opera world aside, contemporary singing, when you're going higher, you pretty much always want to have a big mouth. And so you'll get what's called vowel modification. So instead of singing proof on a really high chest note, which just wouldn't work, it would close everything down. Instead, to get a good sound, for the note to sing better, as we say, you open it up, even to the point of ah. So instead of proof, you have prof. But we get it, like we get the word.
not been through the void. Now celebrate the fact that I have proof.
Prouf. She literally says prouf. We know she says proof, but it sounds like prouf. But we don't care because it sounds so good because the note sings well, which is far more important. Short of completely obliterating like an entire line of text to the point where it's unintelligible. And you know what? Even in that case, I think we still want to hear the singer sing well because it's like, well, they sang badly, but their diction was very good. No one gives a shit. No one cares. That's a thing in like undergrad academia for opera singers. It's like, we must have the perfect diction at all times. And someone who went through that and master's and artist diploma for opera went through all that. You know, that's a big issue with early academia for opera singers is like focusing too much on that and not focusing enough on like, well, let's just sing well. And obviously you want to know you want to be able to speak the language and sound fluent. You want to be able to speak it perfectly. But when you're accommodating for maximum resonance to sing with a full orchestra, it's a system of balance. Anyway, there's a whole rabbit hole about vowel modification, but it's very cool. And this is a great example of proof becoming prouf, because this is about as extreme as vowel modification gets, and yet it still works.
Dying to live, not been through the void. Now celebrate the fact that I have proof.
Love it.
State of mind, I never tried. I know that it's all my fault to justify the darkest time. Means you never had control.
So, I mean, bringing it way back in intensity, right? Just a completely different sound. She's allowing the voice to get super light up top. She's keeping it breath and soft and intimate. So it's got that airy, breathy quality throughout. And I mean, that high note is just it's right around where she was singing earlier, but sounds totally different. It just shows how much vocal color and these artistic choices can affect the performance of a song. It's like everything, right? Every good singer has the notes, right? Everyone's got the notes, but to be able to have this much variety in vocal color in a performance is so powerful. It's so powerful, and for me, it's I've listened to so many singers. I've been a professional singer for so long. It's rare that I'm on like the edge of my seat listening to someone sing, because like I've kind of heard it all. But what's so cool about Maphra, and it's not like she's doing things I've never heard. Like I've heard distorted singing, I've heard lots of vocal colors and all this, but she has such a mastery of it, and it's exciting because you just don't quite know where it's going next. And that's rare. That's rare where you're like, I just don't know. I'm just not sure what's going to come out of her mouth next. That's a very exciting position to be in. But it's also not just that, but you can also trust that it's going to be good. That's what's really cool too. So it's not like sometimes a singer might have an exciting voice, but they're not a consistent singer. And so you might be a little nervous when the high note's coming, you're like, ooh, I don't know if they're going to nail it. With Maphra, you know she's going to nail it, but you also don't know what she's about to do. So this is the first time I'm thinking about that deeply for her specifically, but I think that's something that, at least to me, is quite captivating about her.
Means you never had control.
Hey! Control. I think a low, well, obviously I'm singing in my freaky low bass octave, but what did she just sing? It down around a low C.
Means you never had control.
A B, a low B. Yeah, so you can sort of, it's not a perfect map, but you can sort of think about biological male and female voices about an octave apart as far as their low chest range is concerned. So her singing that low B is a little bit like me singing the really low B I just did, which is very low. It's extremely low. That's low bass territory. A low B, I was saying earlier how the D that I've heard her sing is very low for a female vocalist. Low B is like super low. And, to be able to still like it's not just like air coming out. Sometimes you'll hear a singer try to sing a low note. It's just kind of like air, just like warm air. There's like some meat in this sound.
Means you never had control.
Wonderful. Hell yeah. So good. So good. Also, a funny thing. So this ending period, she's done singing, right? So she's just got to chill there and stay locked into the character. The funniest thing, when I had a teaching assistantship during my master's degree, so scholarship plus teaching assistantship, great stuff. That's what you want in your master's degree. This is when I was studying opera at USC. Quick story time. we're coaching these young singers, these young classical singers, and the funniest thing to watch is at the end of a song performance of a recital. So we'll have these, area recitals where all the students will perform, right? And often at the end of classical pieces, there's like an outro, and the students just have to sit, and it's just voice and piano. Right? There's no mic, there's no guitar, there's no hiding. You're just up on stage in front of the piano, in front of all your classmates, and there's an outro from the piano. It might be 5 seconds, might be 10 seconds, sometimes like 30 seconds. And it's so funny to watch these young singers just squirm up there, because I was the same way. I remember that from my undergrad, but it was funny being in a teacher's position watching it once you've figured out how to navigate that potentially very awkward situation. So they'll be kind of like, they don't know what to do with their hand. Like, I don't know what to do with my hands. And they'll like look over at the pianist, or they'll like turn around, or like they'll start bowing way too soon, like 5 seconds before the piece is actually over. So funny. So this just her having to linger here at the end of the video reminded me of that. Anyway, guys, this is another video for Maphra. I think I've done 4 or 5 now. 4 for sure. Yeah, I've done 4. So I think I've got a few left to get through her discography so far, of which I'm sure I'll get through, because it's great. I love it. You guys love it. Let's keep doing it. So hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something or gained some appreciation for her, and I will see you next time. Peace.